money.
So let's stay with both these stories and what's been happening at the Co-op and Jaguar Land Rover. As we mentioned, their supply chain has been hit after car production stopped because of that cyber attack. So are these attacks becoming more common? Is the worst still to come? How can British businesses build resilience? Graham Stewart is from Checkpoint and has worked in cybersecurity for over 25 years. Morning, Graham.
Morning, Rachel.
Well, we heard the cost of this to the Co-op just there. So the kind of the knock-on impact of these attacks can last for many years and really undermine businesses, can't it?
Yeah, and thank you for everyone pointing out I've been doing this for over 25 years. There's the way to look at this is there's been attacks on individuals and companies for years and years, for decades. The difference is now the quality and the severity of these attacks are completely unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it. And the impact is now huge because what they're doing is they're taking out major name organizations that have impact on everyone's daily lives. This has gone from being an irritant to something really quite significant. And that change has really been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it's obvious to say it, but in the case of JLR, you don't just hit the company, you hit all the little companies that depend on it for their operations as well.
Yeah, I mean, BBC West Midlands did a whole morning show about this yesterday. It's not just the companies, it's the communities, it's people's mortgage payments. If you're having to lay stuff off because your suppliers aren't needed, wow. This has a really, really significant impact. It's people at with the airlines hack at the weekend. At best, it was massively inconvenient, but has a huge implication for the companies involved. And this just rolls down to people's everyday lives. If you think about the hack on the retailers, you were just talking about the Co-op and the M&S, empty shelves, people not able to buy essentials, all that kind of thing. This is really a kind of sea change in terms of the impact of these attacks now.
All of this sounds very worrying. So the attackers are becoming more ambitious, more sophisticated. I suppose we are also all more digitally dependent, aren't we?
Yeah, and there's this concept of digital ecosystem, or the government calls it a networked economy. But all parts of our lives now are plumbed into the internet. We're all connected up together, and it's the supply chain as well. So if you look at the retailers or JLR, they've got a supply chain that's all interconnected. And frankly, these hacks are affecting these organizations and they're starting to really cost money.
So when you started 25 years ago, presumably they were easier to deal with, these kinds of attacks. Just how difficult is it now to unpick when something like this has happened, when someone's hacked into your system?
So there's a magic triangle, we call it in cybersecurity, which is people, process, technology. The bit and technology in the cybersecurity, in the bit of the world I inhabit, has moved on apace, and we're this kind of arms race concept of improving. The processes are the bit that have become now really the big focus on this. How do we make sure that companies are actually got the process in place to cater for these attacks? And 25 years ago, it was just a virus attached to an email, and there was one called "I love you," and everyone clicked on it because they thought, "Oh, that's lovely. I've got a message with "I love you" written on it." And that at the time was kind of the height of sophistication because it was social engineering. It's way beyond that now. There are gangs using English as a first language that are trying to break into organizations using social engineering, then deploy this technology, this ransomware in these organizations. The sophistication is unparalleled and frankly unprecedented.
I mean, really the way you're talking, Graham, I have to say, it sounds a bit like there's not much. We're really up against it. There's not much we can do about it. Can you offer us some hope?
Yeah, and look, I think the important thing, as always with these things, is the learning as a result of these attacks. Companies need to make sure they tighten up their processes. We on the kind of in the cybersecurity industry work tirelessly day and night to develop technologies to help defend against these things. So this is not without hope. But the point here, I suppose, is that gone are the days of it being an irritant, and now of the days, because they're going after these major organizations, there is this fear in the people like me and others hold that we're not far away from the big one. And the big one is the point where they take down something really major. If they have a massive hit on the retailers, everyone fighting in the aisles for toilet roll during COVID is going to look like a picnic because we're so all connected together. However, focus on the technology, focus on the processes, make sure your people are trained. This is not undefendable. We just all need to be a lot more careful about how we behave when we're at work, how we behave businesses in a corporate way.
In what way? Explain how we as individuals can have some agency in this.
So there's stuff you can do individually. So all of us get the text messages, pretending to be from the Royal Mail, pretending to be from the parking fine people. Be suspicious. Treat emails like you would a caller at the front door. You're naturally suspicious. Make sure you're having a look and don't click on things you don't understand. So that's from a personal point of view. Mm-hmm. From in a corporate and public sector perspective, it's about having the right defences in place, having the layered security in place to build on this. And making sure that your people understand, that you've got training so that you understand at work the implications of what's going on, and you learn to recognise these things. And there's plenty of this stuff out there. Companies just need to take it a lot more seriously.
And as for the hackers, is it about money? Is it about making mischief? Are there darker, disruptive political forces at work?
Broadly, yes, to all three. So there are three different types of organizations that do these attacks. So the top layer is the kind of nation state stuff. So it's Russia, it's China, it's Iran, it's North Korea. And these are typically going after big hits, going after taking down websites, influencing elections, taking down subsea cables. You've then got kind of politically motivated gangs that are in this for ideological reasons. The thing that is kind of come out of really nowhere in the last 2-3 years and appears to be the cause of most of these big attacks are gangs that are motivated by money. This is old school. In old school, this is a bank heist. They're just looking to knock off an organization for money. And it's very successful and they can generate large amounts of money. It's a business model. And actually, they're the ones that are really worrying because they don't have any ethics or morals.
So in that case, are there more of these attacks going on than we are aware of, where firms are just coughing up and getting systems back on track as quickly as they can?
Yes. And the evidence for that is that the business model works. They wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't money in it. So all across the world, there are companies that are getting held to ransom, and undoubtedly some of them are paying up and having their systems released. It's not something you would ever condone, but you can see why in a set of circumstances that's out of their control. They just go, just pay the man and get rid of it, please.
Yeah, when you look at what has happened to JLR and M&S and Co-op, you absolutely can. Thank you, I think, because it's pretty scary stuff,
yes,
Graham. Yeah. Happy Thursday. Graham Stewart, who's worked in cybersecurity for, let's call it 2.5 decades, shall we? A long time. So giving his perspective on these cyber attacks, which have affected so many different businesses recently. The government is considering ways, this is the story this morning, to keep Jackdory 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 this morning, to keep Jackdory